SEC, and NC State about 90 miles away out of set to jump, and it's Ole Miss who whacked it all the way out of bounds. Malik Diaz looking at his teammates saying, I hit that, how come you didn't go get it? And he's looking at Elias Comardine. It's going to be NC State ball underneath the Ole Miss hoop.
I can't remember the last time I saw an opening tip resulting in the ball going 50+ feet out of bounds.
Unique opportunity. Store, Comardine, Perry, Dia, and Chest start for Ole Miss. McNeil, Breed, Copeland, Williams, and Van Allen Lubin the other way. They move it around. Passed up the three, takes it into the paint for a contested two, and the rebound ripped by Comardine. The Ole Miss offense averaging 75 points a game, hardly a high wire act towards the 90-100 point. Travis Perry, great shooter, Kentucky, transfer wide open, buries the first three.
Yeah, good action to put Travis Perry inside the paint, and you know when he goes in, he's going to make that exit cut to a wide open three. NC State's defensive issues have bit them in the backside for a lot of this season so far.
But here, Copeland has it, now gets it back, and he'll throw up his own three and find the bottom.
It's an NC State team, right? They come in making 11 threes a game at 39%. If you're Ole Miss, you have to run the team in white off that three-point line.
Copeland averaging almost 17 a game over his last 6. 3-3 early. Is just bigger than everybody else on the floor, and he settles for an 18-footer and knocks it down.
Rather, he's too versatile to give him airspace and let him see the rim and count 1,001, 1,002. You got to put pressure on him. Ball pressure or lack of ball pressure can make a non-player a player, and Malik Diaz is too good.
Williams gets the high screen, open up the three, no good, and a contested rebound to the Rebels.
Yeah, and rebounding be a big concern for the team in white. They're not the most physical team coming out of the ACC.
Dia didn't score 47 in his last game, but he did score 27. Eight on the shot clock. Will launch another three, and that one is off, out of bounds, off of Ole Miss.
If you're NC State, defensively, you come to this game, the Ole Miss has been really good offensively the last two games. Why? Because they have been a downhill, grab the paint team. So for NC State, you have got to guard the ball and set the rules defensively to start this game.
Williams has gone to the bench, Jimmy. Darian's been hurt a little bit, and one of the things that we'll hear when we come back after the 16-minute timeout, that tirade that Wade went on addressed the team's lack of internal leadership, toughness, physicality, consistency. Some of that may have been directed at Williams, and he's on the bench early, and there's a foul in the backcourt.
Well, when you make a statement like that as a head coach, you're addressing the entire team, but you do have 3 or 4 names in mind. And just without watching or listening to what Will Wade said, if you watch the film, for me, from Darian Williams, the last 2 or 3 games, that consistent fight, energy, too casual at times, and that will not work, or should it work, for the ACC preseason player of the year.
So Moussa Sagne, a big 6'10" freshman, is in the game. He got 20 minutes in his last game. Pretty drive on a spin move, up and in for NC State.
He has been really good, has he not? An 8-5 guy in North Carolina, and 13-7 right now for Will Wade. Their best offensive rebounder as well at just right 3 a game.
To get double team, quickly has to back it out. 10 on the shot clock. Comardine. A lot of dribbling, difficult fadeaway. That's off the right side of the iron.
Just guarded himself on that possession, Ole Miss did. Never got a piece of the paint.
Alley-oop, set up beautifully. And again, Van Allen Lubin.
Yeah, he plays so hard, Van Allen Lubin. He has throughout his entire career, from Notre Dame to Vanderbilt to North Carolina, now NC State. A really good portal pickup for Will Wade.
Corner 3 left wide open. Another one misses. Ole Miss cold early to start here.
That is not Ole Miss's plan for attack. Again, they are a downhill team first.
McNeil, a little too strong. Rebound inside. Sagne will get fouled and go to the line for 2.
Watch Van Allen Lubin. This ball gets in the middle third of the floor, and a lot of guys staring at the ball, and you can not only that guy to get behind your back line of defense. That's exactly what happened to Malik Dia. He steps up because of that dribble penetration threat.
Coming in for Ole Miss. Ole Miss is about to bring in 4 players. A line shift here in an arena that feels like literally they're playing a hockey game. It's about 39 degrees out here.
Yeah, well, Chris Beard's bringing in 4 guys because he's got 4 guys in mind right now that are not playing offensively with the game plan in mind and without the effort that he demands.
He's all over Corey Chest right now. He's in the chest of Corey Chest.
He is.
So Pinkins is into the game. Jiffa is into the game. And you'll get the other substitutions. Augusto Casilla, he's 88. Looking to set a screen here on Breed, and he will.
Both teams have been clean with the ball so far. Only average right at 10 turnovers a game. The ball starts with Comardine for Ole Miss being the play starter.
Jiffa and Comardine both played in France together when they were younger. There's a double team. 3 seconds on the shot clock. NC State playing some tough defense early.
Just ate it up, did they not? NC State guarding the ball, guarding their yard. And even when that ball screen comes up, they just trap the life out of it, the air out of it. 1 second now for Ole Miss to work with on that shot clock.
An inbounds and a quick shot.
No idea. And if he had an idea, Alan Breed had a better idea. Ball pressure, putting heat on. And really a hot start for Will Wade's club on the defensive end of the floor.
Ball will be out of bounds on the side. It looked like Ole Miss, had it been under the basket, was about to apply full court pressure. It looks like they're going to stay in that.
You and I have known Will Wade for a long time. He gets players and he can really see the game like an elite level, high IQ basketball mind inside that red jersey.
Open the 6'6" senior out of Syracuse. 2 years at McNeese, came over with Wade.
Good screen.
Great pass and a basket. What a pass and great hands and a layup by Van Allen Lubin, who's having his way early here.
Rebby, that was a scoring. The casual coolness that he has seen from time to time from his team, and that was a strong message sent to start this game. Much more like a Will Wade coach team.
Shot of that's an 8-0 run now, the largest lead of the game. And Williams has been on the bench since he got subbed out early. Looked like he was supposed to be guarding Travis Perry on that opening 3.
I mean, just cannot get inside the teeth of the defense, right?
Yeah, Carberdine has tried. Meantime, Jiffa launches a left-handed 3, no good. Rebound NC State. We're going to get a foul before the travel.
If you cannot go by your guy, talking about Ole Miss, it could be a long afternoon. And again, Chris Beard been very pleased with his team. Talked to him last night for about 30 minutes, you and I did. And they've been a downhill aggressive, but they just cannot get inside that defense to start this game.
Williams is back in. Jimmy, he was the all preseason player of the year in the ACC. We saw Cam Boozer, who is clearly the front runner for that, even though Duke lost last night to Texas Tech.
Well, we're talking about one in white. He was one of the most sought-after portal guys in college ball this year. Watch out.
Yeah, McNeil 0 for 2 to start. And a chance here. 2-on-1. Another 3-ball is missed by Ole Miss, Jimmy. They continue to struggle. They are 1 of 6.
It's not their strength. They're making just 7 a game at 35%. That's 15th out of
hands.
16 in the SEC, Ravi.
Good hands, good hustle by Ole Miss to get on the ground, and then a full-on rugby scrum.
So let's think about that. Ole Miss only averaging 7 threes a game, 15th in non-conference play in the SEC. So if you're NC State, there's no reason to get overstretched. You put hard ball pressure on, you get in those gaps, and you see if Chris Beard's team can make enough jump shots to beat you. So far, the answer is no.
Is it a question of taking what the defense is giving you? Why are they doing something they're not very good at?
Well, yeah, so far, Ole Miss is taking what the defense is allowing them to take. So they're going to have to get the ball side to side and somehow get NC State in some closeouts and get to what is normally the painted area of the floor, which this floor is not painted.
Now Holloman, great defense by Scott. He relocates for a 3. Got it.
I say it all the time. In an odd way, the basketball knows when it should go in, and it always knows when it's been an offensive rebound.
Remember, Perry started this game off by burying a 3. They were 2 of 2, and they have missed their last 5 shots.
Look at those white jerseys, the ball pressure just in the space.
Free throw jumper, way too strong, and another miss for Ole Miss. Can he knock down number 3? No, he can't. Off that 47-point effort, he's missed his first 3 three-point field goals. And good hands there by Copeland to blow up what would have been a corner 3 or a layup.
NC State runs a green light system. They race that ball up the floor, reverse it around as well as anybody in the ACC. But that's what I'm talking about. That offensive rebound, that ball knows it should go in on the next shot because defensively you did not clean me up, and NC State makes them pay.
Matt Abel, good shooter, is into the game, number 3, and he'll guard the inbounds. Will Wade, we know this, Jimmy, he's a very good defensive coach, and he will make sure that he takes advantage of the assets he has offensively. We've seen it for years at LSU and, of course, at McNeese.
He feeds the hot hand.
Yep.
He runs good actions, and like I said, he's got a brilliant eye and mind within the game of where I can have an advantage.
And it feels like Dia's got the advantage size-wise. They're going to get him going. 0 in blue.
Just can't get in there.
Keeps dribbling into trouble. Will Wade pumps his fist 5 times on that sideline.
Well, Ravi, that was nail protection. 10 out of 10 by NC State, by Darian Williams. Just sat on that nail and attacked that basketball with 2 hands. And Chris Beard right now has got his hands full. How do we generate some offense in this game? Here's your answer. Full court defense. Trying to do something, Chris Beard, to create something off of this end of the floor.
Holloman trying to push Jiffa out of the way. Williams away from the basket, challenging Dia, who's got 1 foul.
Well, that is 5-out offense, is it not?
Now Holloman's got 5 on the shot clock. Williams is going to have to pull the trigger here. And he steps through. No, the shot would have counted. Sagne in there. And another loose ball, jump ball, going to go to Ole Miss.
So what are we seeing out of NC State in the half-court offense? We're seeing 5 guys outside that 3-point line. And then late in the clock, like 12 or less, they run a guy to the dunker spot and turn it to 4 around 1. Why do you do that? Now the gaps are bigger. You have double gaps. A simple but very effective offense for NC State.
Williams 0 for 2 to start this game. Diaz out at the 3-point line. And there is another 3. Well short, no blue shirts underneath.
That is exactly the shot that NC State wants Ole Miss to settle for in this game.
Holloman step back. No. Chest fouled by Abel. What are you doing there?
Why are you riding him like a Seabiscuit up the side down the stretch? I mean, you jam the basketball in the backcourt, I get it, to slow Ole Miss down, but you have been outstanding with your half-court defense. Why even flirt with getting into foul trouble?
12-11 left, Jimmy. They haven't scored Ole Miss a point in 6 minutes.
Well, you mentioned Malik Dia leads them in scoring. And Malik Dia has to be good every single night in SEC play if Ole Miss is going to be any factor looking at postseason play.
Perry, 3, way off. Scott tracked it down, threw it off of an NC State defender. Good hustle that time. And now here, NC State. Perry can't get it to go. Their struggles have been brutal. 1 of 9 from 3, 2 of 11 overall. 9 of their 11 field goal attempts, 3-pointers. And a foul there against Ole Miss. It's going to be against number 1. That's Corey Chest.
So in that timeout, I'm sure for Will Wade, feeding these guys confidence. Hey, we can lock these guys up. We've got them doing something offensively they don't want to do. Just stick with what we're doing. And Will Wade always has that look like, are you really thinking what you're saying? Does he not?
There are many looks of Will Wade. That's definitely one of them.
A lot of teams have gone to baseline out of bounds under, putting size on the ball. That's what Ole Miss has going right now. And they squared up. They're not so concerned about taking away this angle like we used to be. And that size on the ball has become pretty prevalent.
Braid to his right. Able to swing it. Holloman's got an open three. And that thing nearly stuck right between the rim and the backboard.
No pass ahead by Ole Miss in their transitions. There's a very slow opportunity running off of the defense.
Yeah, good defense by NC State, though, as Dia will try to back Williams down. Difficult fadeaway, but he gets it to go.
You know what, the Will Wade patted him on the backside when he ran by and said, hey, good shot, because you know why? He made it tough, too. You live with that all the time.
There's a quick three from Williams. That one didn't go, and it's out of bounds, and will stay with NC State.
Right, even the last shot, I think there's all 5 white jerseys are in the paint, maybe one on the ball when this shot's taken. They are just absolutely suffocating those gaps, turning Ole Miss into a jump shot team. Really well done.
Offensive, yeah, you can see, cleared some space, did Copeland, to get to the basket. And our official was all over it. Quadir Copeland.
Yeah, the guard that transfers from McNeese State with Will Wade. He's going to get that off arm right there. That's an easy call to make on 11 and white. But the one thing about Copeland, Ravi, he has had some turnover issues at McNeese. Averaging about 2.5 a game right now. But, boy, such a weapon when you got that size at the point guard at 6'5".
Jiffa picks up his dribble, far away from the hoop. That's one of the things you notice here, too, Jimmy. Ole Miss, their inability to have the point guard drive by and create any opportunities.
Yeah, nobody can. You can just sense, I can, just looking in the eyes of NC State, like, Coach, I got mine.
Yeah.
Like, we can lock these guys down.
On the court for Ole Miss.
You mentioned Copeland. He started his career at Syracuse alongside Malik Brown, who, of course, is now at Duke.
Well, you're Copeland talking about 11 and white on the ball. He gets Will Wade. So that alone puts you in a unique category. But Will loves his voice. He's got some dog in him. And he's that McNeese guy that Will Wade said, I want you with me in the ACC.
And a little penetration, rip away by Holloman. Out of bounds with a catch, and more stifling defense by the Pack.
Yeah, that's ball pressure caused and off-ball pressure caused to force that was normally a pretty straight line cut to the ball. They get crowded on that sideline. NC State just kicked one to the curb last weekend. They had Kansas and a great opportunity to win that game. And
Copeland, pretty left-hand spin.
You can go get you one right, and at 6'5", with that long reach, can make guarded tough twos at the rim.
Now, Copeland just did everything that Ole Miss has been unable to do the entire game. Get by your guy, get in the paint, and make a layup. Not a surprise given all the threes that they've attempted. 8-0 in the paint for NC State, the advantage.
Well, they're getting anything they want right now. And certainly that three-point shooting tightens up that off-ball defense. Now the gaps get bigger, and you give Copeland a big gap, he's going to get to the rim. Like I said, a 6'5" with a long arm. He can make challenge shots at that spot of the floor.
Lafkison, he is a good shooter who, like most of the Ole Miss players, hasn't found his shot yet. Foul line jumper off to the right. Good rebound in traffic by Quadir Copeland.
Challenger shot, had 3 white jerseys form a cup at the rim. Just a clinic defensively.
Whoa, look out, Copeland, pretty move. Oh, he had an open 3 and he couldn't hold on to it. Braid no good. Battle for the rebound, and it's Ole Miss. Perry, that's his shot, and that's good.
Until Ole Miss does that, there's no reason for NC State to change their defense. They'll just stay gap heavy. I know you're late recovering to a pretty good shooter, but so far you have been really good at taking away that downhill action of the Rebels.
Van Allen has that ball ripped away. Perry comes up with it. Ole Miss, Jimmy, despite the fact that they're shooting this way, and only down 6, they have 10 points with 8:42 to go. And Perry gets the roll.
Rather than the all-time high school scoring leader from Kentucky, the state of, you can put the ball in the basket. And Travis Perry, known for his three-point shot, but that time with a tough, determined two. And to your point, Ole Miss just down 4, as poorly as they've been on the offensive end.
Copeland wide out. It's his game right now. Copeland pounding his chest in front of the Ole Miss bench.
You cannot dare NC State to shoot the ball. Too many guys, 40% or higher in their top 5 scores, all 5 of them.
Penetration, kiss off the window, a little too strong. Numbers for NC State. After he falls, I'm shocked that the hand was up from Store and he didn't play defense.
Point, 2 rebound guy. They don't have a shot in SEC play. There's not enough there to go along with Comardine and Dia.
Dia's been held in check, 4 points. Perry's got the other 8. Now he's in the paint, and that is what Malik Dia is certainly capable of doing.
He's a very good, versatile player, a below-the-rim guy that just carves out space.
Copeland liked that matchup against Perry. McNeil Jr. That one looked better from the shot, and it drops.
Gunners know how to get open. I say that as a compliment to McNeil because that's what he is. There's a violent cut right behind that penetrating drive. Feet were set.
Perry's feeling it. That's no good. Largest lead for NC State. Williams has it. Copeland plays with sort of a freestyle, doesn't he?
Now this is a mismatch right here.
They're going to get a block on Perry, who was run over by Williams.
Well, that's what happens, though, Ravi. If you're NC State and you bring this ball up with speed, you're going to get a mismatch right off the bat. And that is a mismatch all created by NC State's urgency to push that ball up, not letting Ole Miss talk it out and make sure we're naturally matched up.
First foul on Perry. 4 fouls against NC State, 6 against Ole Miss. And Williams trying to take advantage again. He threw Perry out of bounds. We saw Travis Perry, who's just a phenomenal shooter, and he certainly has put on a little muscle and a little weight at Ole Miss this year.
His high school team, his graduating class, Ravi, from Lyon County, had 65 in their class. I mean, it was old school Hoosiers. They won the entire Kentucky State Championship where all classifications play for the state tournament.
Yeah, Diaz feeling it a little bit. He's going to go to the free throw line. A great move on the baseline.
Ravi, think about Travis Perry from Eddyville, Kentucky. Graduating class, he had 65 kids per class. And they, a storybook ending similar to Hoosiers, cut down the nets his senior year.
Free throw good. Jimmy, coming up next year on ESPN on the app. Men's basketball showdown, Cincinnati. Clemson will be at the Bon Secours Wellness Arena. That's in Greenville. Final game for each before the holiday break. As Dia makes 1 of 2.
Clemson, that typical ACC team. Just very
watch out, Jimmy. Mr. McNeil's made 2 in a row, and the threes are fun.
It's all about the speed that they bring it with. And that's the green light mentality that Will Wade plays with.
Dia gets called for leaving his feet and walking on the land.
Hope is not a plan. You heard me say that before. He was just hoping something good would happen out of it. Malik Dia is a good player, but he just drives in trying to create something out of nothing, hoping that something good is on the back end, and it's not.
This is a Rubik's Cube for a group of guys that right now don't know how to figure it out. They have 15 points with 5:47 to go. And you got to be careful. McNeil, coming off that 47-point effort, has made 2 threes in a row. He had 11 in that game. Good pass to Williams. He tripped, and he's going to go to the line now with a 7th foul against Ole Miss.
I mean, we have questioned, I have, his motor a little bit to start this season, but you can see the skill package that he packs. 230 pounds. He's probably 6'5", standing by in pregame warmups talking about Darian Williams, but boy, a really tough cover. And an area that he does need to improve. He's shooting less than 3 free throw attempts a game. With that body and that versatility and the isolation, the freedom that he plays with, that number should be at 7 or 8 a game.
Elite 8 last year with Texas Tech. He became sort of the second option on that team. The J.T. Toppin, who we watched last night in that Texas Tech win over Duke. Here's what he's done as far as points per game, and this year up by 1. You'd like to see him get to the line more.
I would, and some guys are just not wired to be the guy, like J.T. Toppin, Christian Anderson from Texas Tech are wired like that. But this is a guy that has to be really good for Will Wade in ACC play. And how good was Texas Tech last night? Just another monster win, right, for the Big 12?
Yeah, they've had a lot of them. More than any conference. 3-corner. Yes, sir. They are reigning right now for the Wolfpack. Seven for 15 from deep. They're going to get a foul before the block.
Well, numbers will tell you NC State. They see a big rim on that perimeter, but all starts with that paint touch. Grabbing the paint by Copeland. And Trey Holloman right there to knock it down. A 43% three-point shooter. Didn't shoot the ball at that high of a clip at Michigan State. And he also did not start Wednesday for the first time this year. So maybe that after-game rant was directed a little bit at Trey Holloman as well.
Yeah. Will Wade's a veteran coach. There are times where you cannot start your star players, and there are other games you really can't do that. And there are games you issue the ultimatum like he did, knowing what's coming next. And he did both of those things effectively as Pinkins knocks down 1 of 2.
Well, we're talking about Texas Tech. Christian Anderson. Texas Tech played all 40 minutes last night. I watched the entire game, and never at any moment did he play tired. And that is a great quality as a player.
McNeil, 3 in a row. Great look, too, as he set up in the corner. NC State has changed this whole thing. And that's going to be a foul on the floor against the Wolfpack. Second foul against Williams. D coming back in. His hands are raised, wondering who in the world am I taking out? It's going to be Corey Chest. Very uncharacteristic. You think about Chris Beard, who is in year 3 now at Ole Miss. In his 3rd year at Texas Tech, they played in the NCAA title game. And at least through the early part of this season, and certainly this game, there doesn't appear to be a lot of traction, a lot of cohesion.
Yeah, they went through a 4-game losing stretch. Iowa, Utah, neutral floor, Miami, Florida, and then at St. John's. In all those games, they were in the 60s, 70s scoring, but just have not. It's interesting. It's not the only team, Ravi. A lot of teams only return 1 or 2 guys. But Ole Miss only returned 1 guy. He's played a lot more live basketball in practice this year, just trying to get some separation. Like, who are my best 5 or 6 dudes? And doesn't have the answer yet.
Copeland will try. Too strong. Williams with the offensive board. McNeil to the corner. Open 3. He's got 4 in a row.
What did I tell you about gunners? They know how to get open. The ball went opposite of him. He didn't stand and watch. He slid and made a quick scoring cut. The ball finds Cutters.
Travis Perry, he pushed right there. Copeland's mouth may have some blood trickling out of it. And another 3 that is missed for Ole Miss. The frustration for Beard grows, and watch out for McNeil. There he is. No good that time. AJ Storr, not even close. Copeland continues to dribble through a maze. The alley-oop. Pretty play and the finger roll from Sonye. NC State having its way every way, such that Chris Beard is ready to switch all 5 Ole Miss players out. Now this is ugly for Ole Miss.
You're being kind because Christmas is a few days away. I mean, yeah, I am. And Seth, I would agree. Just there's no life, there's no fight, there's no purpose right now in those Ole Miss uniforms. And we know Chris Beard's a ball coach, man. He's just got to be just wrecking his inside to see his guys play like this. But I credit what Will Wade has done in the last couple of weeks as his team. Chris knew coming in that Will Wade was getting his team right. He watched that same rant. And NC State playing like those McNeese State teams, just a pack of dogs.
A bad pass. Dia would have had an uncontested layup. Another loose pass, and Klefke got his hand on it. But with all that lack of intensity and effort, you literally could run the Will Wade post-game rant about Ole Miss. You know, you could put him in an Ole Miss uniform as a head coach and say the same things about the way the Rebels are playing. And they are certainly putting the miss in Ole Miss with their shooting. There's a terrible turnover. Was it deflected? The officials look at each other and say no. They are shooting 6 of 20 from the floor and 2 of 12, 16% from three-point line.
I can tell you where Chris Beard is. This is not a shot at Zach Day, but Zach Day, number 31 for Ole Miss, in that far right corner, has played a total of 6 games, 38 minutes. And Chris Beard saying, I'm just going to play someone that's going to play hard. And that's about all he can try to accomplish right now before he can get in that locker room.
Sonye back in. We're at the 2:30 mark of the first half, and it has been all Wolfpack. McNeil Jr. throws it to Breed. He buries a 3. They are sharing the sugar today. Out of their 12th assist, their 28th field goal attempt, they've made 15. 12 of those have been assisted.
And Will Wade's so good at scoring and setting that 2-2-1 press to shorten your shot clock.
Bad pass.
And a worse pass.
And that wasn't good either. That's right.
I see your bad pass, and I'll raise you one.
There's a decent one. That's up and in. Finally, a point in the paint. That's their first 2. Check that. That's their second field goal in the paint tonight.
Typically, NC State will change their defenses throughout the course of the game. There's no reason to change it if you're Will Wade. Your half-court man-to-man has just locked Ole Miss up.
McNeil on the floor is able to keep it alive. And Alan Lubin shared it. Another one comes back to him, and the loose balls are going to NC State.
Wipe the floor up, but we talked about in the open, Ole Miss, NC State, neither one of them coming into today had won a ball game against a team out of a Power 4 conference. And Ole Miss looking at a steep uphill right now. And that loss, Seth knows it from being a head coach, that loss prior to Christmas, especially when your team has not lived up to expectations so far,
sticks with you.
Yeah, it more than sticks with you. It will steal your joy if you don't guard your heart as a coach.
A lot of individual dribbling going on. Day is into the game, and there are 5 on the shot clock. Perry, Klefke, he got everybody in the air, and he'll draw the foul.
Ravi, Ole Miss, look at where they are in the season. They won 7 games. They can win with paint touch offense. Ole Miss can't. They cannot beat good teams with no paint touch offense, and that has summed up this first 20 minutes. Perry and Pinkins can knock down a 3, but it all sets up with Ole Miss's ability to get inside the teeth of the defense, and it just has not happened for Chris Beard in this first 19 minutes.
Klefke knocks it down. Later on, more basketball here on ESPN on the app. We'll have the 2nd annual Invisalign Bay Area Women's Classic. An old rival square off in both. Stanford and Oregon at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific. And then Jazzy Davidson and the 19th ranked USC women take on Cal, the Chase Center. 2 good ones before the teams get some time off for the holiday break. Women's basketball doubleheader coming up later. And of course, the women's volleyball championship, which has been outstanding, an all-SEC final on ABC at 3:30 this afternoon.
Now that is huge. Kentucky, I think, beat A&M in the regular season 3-1.
Look at Lubin. He launched a three, no good.
Why not?
Just quick shots, no rebounds. They have one offensive rebound all day. Copeland. Great pass underneath to Sonye, and he will draw the foul. Boy, Copeland is having fun today.
He's having fun, and Chris Beard is not.
No.
I mean, look at the guys Chris Beard has on the floor to finish out the first half, and all the dudes that he's got sitting on the bench to finish out this first half. This is about an overall message. This is about what's not acceptable, what is acceptable within this Ole Miss program right now. And man, just what a disheartening way to enter an off week for Chris Beard in Oxford.
They had some plane troubles. We were scheduled to meet them for a shoot-around around 6 p.m. Eastern time. Would they land around 9?
Yeah, it does throw off your mojo, and as a coach, and I wasn't, as a head coach, I wasn't a superstitious head coach, but I was stitious. Like when things happen, you're like, okay, this is not getting off on a good foot. Probably kind of felt like that for Ole Miss last night, arriving 3 hours late. Still no excuse for not playing as hard as you can play.
Perry got his hand in there. They got a chance here to at least go into half feeling a little better as he knocks down another three. He's been outstanding. Travis Perry has done his part. No one else.
Out of bounds off of plays, basket interference, goaltending. If there's been a call, you can challenge that as well. And those restricted arc plays. Ravi, I hope in the offseason we have a conversation about giving both coaches 2 challenges and going away from the appeals. We have appeals and challenges. It can get a little confusing. Appeals are different because an appeal, you don't have to have a timeout left to appeal something. If you lose the appeal, then it's also an administrative technical foul, and the appeals are more centered around timing issues. We think it was a flagrant foul, but was it a 2 or a 3? Those type of plays. So a little confusion, but Chris Beard right on top of that last coach's challenge.
Yeah, I agree. Rare miss there inside for Williams after Dia powered his way in for 2. Eko Bundalo is into the game. He wears 7, as Jimmy pointed out. Chris Beard's leash has now disappeared. And effort will keep you on the floor. Let's see if Dia can go to work again on the baseline with 7. He will pull up, line drive shot, a little too strong, and no blue shirts underneath.
Man, how many of those shots has Ole Miss had to take in this ball game? Just tough challenge 2s and white jerseys all over that defensive glass.
McNeil, what a pass. Really good look down low to Van Allen Lubin. With the disparity between the 2 teams' paint touches and paint passing.
To the end of his bench where his normal minute guys are, and I'm sure he said something like, "That's on you."
Williams, high arcer, no good. Got a chance to go get it, and it's out of bounds.
Does that make sense, though?
Yeah, it does.
Hey, if you were in the game, this wouldn't be happening to us, but I can't trust you to play you right now. So every point that's getting scored against us, it's against guys that don't get a lot of time. So you get dunked on, Chris Beard looks at the end of his bench and says, that's on you. This should not be happening to us, but this is on you right now.
Williams, Perry will launch a 3. Another one that is just off the backboard before it makes any contact with the rim.
Man, if you want a lesson on how hard you're supposed to play, go back and watch that Houston-Arkansas game yesterday. And both those teams brought a high motor, especially Houston. Or go watch Caleb Wilson from North Carolina. He had a 20-15 game against Ohio State. I haven't seen a freshman consistently play harder than Caleb Wilson from UNC all year long.
It was pretty interesting, too, listening to Cal as a 3-ball is missed off the back iron. You know, he's been in a bunch of tight games, won a couple, lost 3 of them. He said about Houston, that was the one game he said, we didn't really have a chance.
It was at kind of a different level, and that's
what Houston is with Sampson, and boy, could they shoot.
We were talking with Will Wade prior to the game about the Big 12 has legitimate 5 national title contenders, maybe a 16th, possible Elite 8 Final 4. They are this year's version of the SEC last year, no doubt. That is where they have gone to.
The quality depth at the top. Texas Tech entered that chat conversation. How about a throwdown? And another one where Beard will probably send a message to the end of his bench. Oakland.
Ravi, I will be shocked if Chris Beard plays those last 4 or 5 guys sitting over there in this ball game.
Perry, Klafke, one more. Now, even the extra look doesn't work.
Chance for Big Blue Nation to have one heck of a weekend, right?
Right.
Kentucky kind of got right over the weekend. Back-to-back wins over Indiana and the St. John's team that I thought was just average yesterday. But, man, credit Kentucky defensively. And Jaden Quaintance, he changes how Kentucky looks, especially on that defensive end. And
he just changes how they look.
He does. And credit Mark Pope for saying, you know what, I love to shoot threes. I love to have a free-flowing back-and-forth game, but that's not who we are this year. So he has rebuilt his team over the last 2 or 3 weeks since we saw that beatdown they took from Gonzaga.
There's a long pass from Perry and another 3-ball that goes high off the backboard. Loose ball ends up in the fingers of NC State. Both Dia and Bundalo had a chance at it. That's going to be a foul on Bundalo, but yeah, Beard gets up out of his seat, clapping for the effort.
I mean, that's how you're supposed to play the game. I mean, Nico Bundalo, 5 minutes total coming in. He's going to get 15 or 16 here in this second half. And I know Chris Beard well enough. I will be shocked if he plays Storr and Scott and Corey Chess and Commerdine in the second half.
Perry and Dia, the only guys that started that are on the floor right now, and that is Holloman. A 6-0 run. Flight was delayed 3 hours. Which flight's more enjoyable? Last night's dreaded delay or this one?
Easily last night.
Last night's. Pressure from Holloman. They're going to get a foul on him. He pressured Klafke, and they got him. And Will Wade is like, nah, I don't think so. Third on Trey Holloman.
Trey Holloman, he was really good for a late stretch for Sparty last year. And he had a 2-point, 2-assist game in the loss to Auburn, but just a solid old veteran, just a good college guard.
Dia, no. Yeah, there were a lot of people surprised when he left. They figured he was at OKG. He was like our kind of guy at Michigan State. Playing time diminished a little bit as McNeil lands another one.
I love him as a shooter, but he's got some dog in him, man. He plays with energy. He's always fighting to get himself open.
Dia, no good.
I mean, look at McNeil right there. I mean, he went and got a traffic rebound. You don't always
going up again, Jimmy.
Why not? Ravi, when Will Wade got hired, he instantly brought the smoke and the spotlight on NC State, as he talked about in his opening press conference. And Chris Beard going to do what I didn't think he'd do. He's going to bring these guys back in for another shot. It was the first 6 minutes, sending another message to pretty much his main guys. But Will Wade, from the opening get-go, has said, we're NC State, and we have to be different than what we've been in the past. And you build that by being different, by having dogs and playing hard, playing a style.
He's had success everywhere he goes. He may not do things conventionally, but in the NIL world, that is Will Wade's world.
It is.
You know, NC State is a very supportive community when it comes to basketball. They've had some glory days there for sure.
Well, if you hire a guy at NC State that doesn't have some type of an edge to him, you're just going to continue to get...
Whoa! Chance for 4, and it's McNeil with his 6th of the game.
He will continue to get shoved to the side by North Carolina and Duke, and Will Wade's not going to get shoved to the side by anybody. Whether it happens in the first year or not, I don't know, but man, it all starts with 11 and white again, you just watch Paul McNeil move as the ball is moving away from him. He doesn't stand and watch. He's not locked into a certain real estate spot on the floor. He knows angles. He knows how to get himself open as a shooter. He is a tough cover because he's all up 6'5", McNeil, and long arms for a shooter.
Copeland penetrated, kick for a three. There's some penetration and a tough shot that finally goes down for Ole Miss. Difficult shot by Jiffa. Williams, no, he continues to really struggle. He's been the one guy, Jimmy, 0 for 7 from the floor that has struggled today. It wasn't lost on you, though, when the 5 guys came back in, that the first play, Copeland goes into the paint and kicks for a three.
Yeah. And here's back to that offense that just with no purpose. There you go.
Jiffa knocks down a three.
And that was the right pass. It wasn't the extra pass. It was the right pass. Turned down one that was pretty good to get one that was wide open.
Copeland penetrates again. He's got his buddy who gives up the three. Hot potato for a three. And a layup. An air ball from Holloman that is put back up and in by Copeland.
Air balls are hard to rebound defensively, but still, that it will not set well with Chris Beard. I don't know. I might go back to the end of the bench again.
I think that's exactly what he's doing.
I mean, he has seen enough. I mean, he gave his guys another 4-minute opportunity to show me something, and they did. They showed him, Coach, right now, you can't trust me. You can't trust my effort. You can't trust my execution. You can't trust my voice. You can't trust my body language.
It's a lonely walk when you walk by the coach, and not only does he not look at you, he looks away from you.
Away from you. I mean, it's so discouraging. Seth Greenberg can speak to it as well as a coach, to see your team just being this much of a funk. I'm not saying that Seth's guys ever were, but you know the feeling. You're absolutely sick at the pit of your stomach to watch your guys' lack of competitiveness.
Well, and you mentioned it often. It's the holiday break, but it means when the calendar turns, we're in conference play.
Yeah.
This is where you should really have things together. As Holloman lays up that little right-handed finger roll.
Chris Beard told his guys last night, Christmas break doesn't start until the end of the game against NC State, and we circle up and say the Lord's Prayer. They missed that message. They never started in this game.
Paint touch that comes up short, but finally actually a cut in the middle of the paint.
Watching Quadir Copley start thinking about point guards that are really performing at a high level. How about Braden Smith yesterday? What he did against Auburn in an 88-60 win. What do you have, 14 assists in that game? He to me, Braden Smith, is the best passing point guard I remember in college basketball in the last 10 or 15 years. He's not proved it to you, and he has.
The guys have got himself into the starting lineup last couple of games, and the future is bright for McNeil. And in a world of college basketball where threes are so important, he's going to be an important guy for Will Wade.
Will Wade saw 2 outstanding back-to-back shooting games. Unfortunately, one of them was from Melvin Council Jr. at Kansas. He made 9, and his guy made 11 the next game.
That was big body on big body, and Abube will get called for the foul. Dia is 250. I'm thinking Abube is just maybe 244 as he's coming out of the game.
Yeah.
Will Wade gives him a high five.
Talking about Texas Tech beating Duke last night, giving them their first loss. And you look at the ACC, I do. Duke to me would still be, as we finish up non-conference play, I would put them #1 in the ACC. A little bit concerned. I heard Seth talking about it I think at halftime or maybe in a cutaway that who's the second guy that you're going to count on every night to go along with Cameron Boozer, I think is an issue with John Shire right now. Watch out.
Here comes Dia. Contested. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
And that's why Chris Beard has kept him in the game when the other starters have to sit and watch. He trusts where Malik Dia's heart is. He cares about the right thing. He works. And Chris Beard rewards him with playing time. And those other starters have to watch.
I love Trey Holloman. It's 63-36, and a train at 250 is coming at you. What are you doing?
Yeah. You know, right there behind Duke, I think, is North Carolina. That combination of Caleb Wilson and Henry Vasar. You could argue the best two-man front line in college ball. Seth Trimble showed up big against Ohio State.
Oh, he missed an easy one there. He gets it back. And he threw it to Beard.
But do you agree the ACC is better this year? Not back to where we are used to the ACC being, but certainly better.
No question.
Watch Dia right here. Do you think about Holloman? He tried,
right? He did. Dia looked at him like, wait a minute. What?
Sometimes you're the windshield.
Yes.
Sometimes you're the bug.
Yep. He avoided being the bug, which was good.
I like North Carolina, though.
Yeah, they're better. I mean, to me, that's sort of the X factor in the conference, because it was always Duke, Carolina, or Carolina, Duke. To have them back into that conversation is critical to the conference.
Yeah. And
Wake Forest is better.
They're better. And I'm a little disappointed in Louisville. Now, you and I have called their two losses. You and I have had them at Arkansas and at Tennessee. But
you know what we won't have anymore?
What's that?
Louisville games.
Yeah. But their lack of physicality is alarming when they go up against a physical team. That's a real concern, I'm sure, for Pat Kelsey heading into Christmas break.
We saw them against Arkansas and Tennessee. Two physical teams
that just beat them up. Absolutely beat them up.
Speaking of Arkansas, Tennessee, good game coming out of New Year's, January 3rd, right? Arkansas, Tennessee.
Tennessee at Arkansas at open conference play. You and I will be there. Darius Acup for Arkansas is as good of a well-rounded point guard as I've seen in a long time. He's able to shoot that basketball as a separator to go with his downhill speed.
First three ball of the game for Smith, who just entered about 2 minutes ago.
He's played a total of 6 minutes prior to today.
Yep.
He's now 2 for 4 from the three-point line, so he needs more shots.
Trapped in the corner, out of bounds, and it will stay with NC State as they bring three back, including, I think a lot of people are here waiting for McNeil to continue to shoot with his 6 threes.
Ravi, I would be so embarrassed if I was an Ole Miss player over there right now, going down the line of those guys that are starters with Storr, Chess, Comerdine, Scott. Like, that's embarrassing on national TV to not have any more care and fight and passion and effort than you have played with, to the point that the coach has to sit you down and not play you and allow guys that are practice players to take your minutes.
Sit you down twice.
Yes.
He sort of said to you, you know what, you can go back in the pool, but if you splash somebody, you're coming out.
Yeah, and you came right away.
They came right back out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see the challenge that Beard has ahead of him, to see how this team, if possible, to turn it around.
He has a huge challenge because there's Travis Perry doing what Travis Perry can do. But they get back to Oxford tonight off of a charter, and they disperse for Christmas break. And a lot of time for Coach Beard to sit and stew and try to figure out what buttons does he push when they get back together.
He stood up there and he went over to the scorer's table to try to get Travis Perry's attention, and he got ripped down, did Travis Perry. Held back up by Williams. But those two, remember, Jimmy, have been battling since literally the first minute of the game. And Williams threw him down. That's going to be number 3 on Darian Williams.
I mean, you talked about it when Ole Miss came to warm up today. They're not an oversized team at all, so they're going to get caught in some untraditional matches, like Perry had to slide up and guard a bigger guy today in Williams. But it is what it is. And the SEC is an unforgiving league. It's not at all what it was last year, but still a league that's going to have 9 or 10 bids. You know, that's going to be right there with the Big 10 and the Big 12 in terms of numbers, but the teams that we have our eyes on, I say we in college basketball, that are legitimate national title contenders, they're coming out of the Big Ten, the Big 12, Gonzaga, Duke, UConn, maybe North Carolina. It's the list is pretty short as we head into Christmas. It could change.
NC State draws the foul on
to shoot more. Chris Beard was involved with Travis Perry out of high school. It came down to Kentucky and Ole Miss, and Travis Perry,
4-on-1, Jimmy.
Shoot it or pass it. Yeah.
Pretty class. They've outscored him 23-18.
The 5 that Chris has played in the second half has played harder than the 5 he played in the first half.
That was an aggressive defensive play, which I'm sure will resonate. And Chris Beard is at half court clapping right now. Klafke went over and saw the loose ball like a football and went on it like a should recover the fumble. He took the player with him.
His dad, Rogério, was on that Brazilian national team in the, I think he played in the 1996 Olympics. But you got to, that's a slip on that sticker. It's a sticker slip. You got to protect those guys in loose ball situations, but I mean, it's as plain as day what Chris Beard is thinking right now about his team. He's not even acknowledging the guys on the end of the bench.
Free ball, corner pocket. That one is good. They've shot really well from 3 today, over 40%. Now 13 of 30.
It's almost like Chris Beard is sending the message, I've got 2 starters as we head into Christmas break. Dia, the kid with the ball, and now Travis Perry with a fake handoff. Those other three spots,
that's off,
are wide open when they come back after Christmas break. I mean, wide open.
And he is a really good kid. The senior went to Belmont first. Just a really good kid who's done a ton, put in extra work, Jimmy. He shoots late at night. He shoots early in the morning. He does yoga like you do. He's changed his diet. He's done a million things to make himself a better player. And he's still sitting here, man. He's looking at this bench.
Well, Chris Beard will describe Malik Dia as a guy that works and he cares about Ole Miss, and his heart's in the right place. And he has one of the higher usage rates in the SEC last year, and again this year he will. I mean, he had a monster 18-8 game in the second round win against Iowa State last year in that NCAA. Good player, like really good player.
14 points, 7 rebounds today for Dia. That 3 is a little too strong, and the rebound from traffic is Williams.
Ravi, if you want a team that plays really hard, you know the secret? Recruit guys that play really hard. I just don't think you can take a guy that's got a 4 as a motor and make him into a 9 or a 10. I've never seen it happen. You can take a guy that comes in playing at a 7 or 8 and get him to a 9 or 10. But those guys that are 3 or 4s, I'm not saying the guys he's not playing right now have a 3 or 4 of a motor. They did in the first half. I'm just saying, if you want guys that play hard, a team
like Perry's doing,
yeah, dude, that's who you recruit.
Well, like you said, you don't pull the Hoosier story in the state of Kentucky and win a title unless you get some toughness in you.
No, you do not.
Relocation 3. Perry, have a game, son. 19 of the game for Travis Perry.
I know it's only 6 minutes to go, and it doesn't feel like the game's in threat, but look up, and it's a 66-52 game because Chris Beard has rewarded the right things about basketball. Just play as hard as you can play, and you'll get some time.
Down low, challenged by Dia, but a good finger roll there. And Van Allen Lubin's had a very consistent, good game.
It's important that Van Allen Lubin stays on the floor for NC State.
Good hands, and here we go. Copeland. Oh, baby! A little show for the NC State fans here in Greensboro. And a Sports Center top 10 dunk. With Perry one more time. That one is off. Good rebound by Dia. Spin move. Lost it. Regained it. No. Sam Smith. Yeah.
I love the motor of Dia and Perry. I mean, they're out there playing with guys that are normally on the practice squad, and they just continue to battle and fight. That's a foul.
Well, it becomes a message that is going to be received or not, and your own personal pride. I mean, the mirror is the greatest identifier, and you got to look at it. And those guys going back on the end of that bench have to know they didn't pull their weight at all from the beginning of the game.
No question. So now, Ravi, the question is, who's going to be in the ear of those guys at the end of the bench that Chris Beard said, I've seen enough of you today, when they go home? Are those voices going to blame him, Chris Beard? Are they going to have a real man-to-man, grown-up conversation about, that ain't how I raised you, that's not who you are, that's not how you play the game? Like, there's so many factors, man, that coaches deal with, but who's going to be in the ear of players in Christmas is a huge thing.
Yeah, Perry lays another one in, and Travis Perry continues to add to his career high with 21. I don't know how you blame Beard when two guys have played the majority of minutes. Like,
you can't
on the floor.
No, if you're logical, you cannot. You cannot blame Beard if you're logical.
Holloman and Perry, who's on the ground, and this may be one that the officials will take a look at. It looked like Holloman may have extended his arms to get Travis Perry away from him. It looks like right now they're calling a common foul, and Chris Beard may say we should probably think about this being a flagrant one.
Yellow foul called on the play.
I didn't see anything off that initial Perry. The initial one's a slip, but right here, Holloman makes the contact, and then they said Perry clamped down. I didn't see that part of it.
Yeah.
To me, that's a excessive, unnecessary, should have been a flagrant one on Holloman. That's how I saw it.
Yeah.
You agree?
I agree 100%. There's no more than 100 that I would agree with you on. That's it. It's a ringing endorsement of your
ringing endorsement. And Chris Beard saw the play the same way I did.
They free up Perry with a ball fake. He's been outstanding. Good hands by NC State to take that one away. It hasn't been a work of art in the second half for NC State. They just had such a big lead at the break, 45-26. They've been outscored by 3 here. But Will Wade certainly has to be encouraged by some of the fire his team showed, and they're going to get Lubin there with a moving screen.
And that's the right call. I mean, Lubin never got set. Certainly his feet were way outside of his shoulders. And anytime there's contact occurred, that's an illegal screen. But had the defender, Eduardo Klafke, not made an effort to fight over the top of it, never get the call.
Oh, Diaz slipped down low. Yeah, that didn't look good. Thankfully, he's okay. He will get fouled.
Really the only knock, and it's not a knock, but just the only thing that I would like to see more from Malik Dia in conference play, he's still only getting 6 rebounds a game. And that was an emphasis in the offseason with Chris Beard with him. He's got to be an 8 or 9 guy because of lack of size.
Well, they have Dia, and they figured, too, they were going to get some more rebounds from Corey Chest. That didn't happen. Dia does have 10 today. Hot bowl season rolls around tomorrow afternoon. The very famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The blue turf, of course, Albertson Stadium, Boise, Idaho, Washington State, Utah State, 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on ESPN and the ESPN app. It was more unique when it was the only blue turf, but now you got basketball courts that are blue.
You do, yeah.
Everything's blue.
Getting that NBA Cup stuff. Actually worked a game at Boise. It's a college football sideline reporter way back in the day.
They're going to count that bucket from Reed. Finish that story.
Well, the turf was blue and my lips were blue. And the high was probably 19, if I remember. NC State has not been perfect in the second half, but they continue to have downhill, determined drivers. I like what Will Wade told us about Allen Breed. He said, you know what, he's not going to be the best player. He's not going to be the worst player on the floor. He just, I know what I'm getting out of Allen Breed. Just a consistent guy, 3 years at Providence, 1 at McNeese State, his 6th year of college basketball because of injury.
He was the first transfer to commit for Wade.
Yeah. He was averaging 17 last year before he got hurt.
Yeah, Dia, pretty shot from the baseline. The numbers are adding up for Malik Dia and Travis Perry on what's going to be a losing end for Ole Miss.
So, Ravi, the game is lost for Ole Miss, but the message has, I think, resonated because Chris Beard has gotten some good stuff out of Travis Perry. He knows he can trust the heart of Malik Dia. Look at Malik Dia's jersey right now.
Yeah.
It is soaked through. And the guys on the end of the bench watching, they're not a perspiration drop on him. So Malik Dia, you can see the difference in the shades of blue. I don't know if it shows up right there. That's the guy that cares and plays hard, man. He doesn't know what the score is or who his teammates are. He's still playing the game the way that Chris Beard demands. So
maybe on the flight home they'll give his shirt its own seat to say this is what we need here.
It should. It's certainly a disappointing way for Ole Miss to head into Christmas break. Way more questions than answers, but Chris Beard did get some things accomplished in the second half. He sent a strong message to 4 or 5 of his main guys. He got Travis Perry going as a shooter. He can still trust Malik Dia. Great shot fake.
Yeah, it has worked all day, too.
Yes, all day.
One thing about NC State, they've left their feet on a Travis Perry fake.
I would say this, marry someone that loves a shot fake as much as you do, and you're in for a good life. Or someone that appreciates those kind of things.
So you and Tiff Tiffany watch games and say, honey, how about, did you see that shot?
All the time. Well, she normally brings it up to me.
She says, Jimmy, did you?
Gosh, yes. She's on shot fakes before I am. Well, I go back to the rant by Will Wade after their last game. And what do you say? We got good kids, good GPA. I'm all for that stuff, but we're not running a daycare. And I need some dogs. I need some guys that aren't casual, not cool. Casual and cool get you beat at this level. And he's trying to get that stuff out of whoever he's trying to get it out of. And I think they took a really big step in the direction in this game, Ravi. Ole Miss has struggled, we know that, but both teams came in without a win from a power conference, and NC State's going to get one.
I think it's so interesting that they've gotten 1 point from Darian Williams, the ACC preseason player of the year, all Big 12 first team last year. They've gotten 1 point. Virginia, North Carolina highlight tomorrow night's ACC Network men's basketball doubleheader. The freshman phenoms that are leaving many countries lead these teams. Tess DeRitter leads the number 23 Hoos against American at 6 Eastern. And then Caleb Wilson of the 12th ranked Tar Heels hosts East Carolina at the Dean Smith Center. Both available on the ESPN app. And that's the one thing you look at NC State, and even Will Wade told us, we can shoot it, we can move it, we're just undersized. And you get 1 point right now from Williams and 4 rebounds. If he can find whatever he's missing, that makes them even more formidable.
It is. Yeah, he comes in as a leading scorer, but there's more in that tank out of Darian Williams that Will Wade has to have. If NC State's going to finish in the top 3 or 4 in the ACC.
Copeland dribbled himself into a spin cycle, and the layup no good, but Dia will add to his total. Malik Dia's got 20 in the game.
I just have a ton of respect for Chris Beard and what he did in the second half. Setting those dudes down and saying, I've had enough of you. And he gave him a little bit of a window, and they proved the same thing all over again. So, terrific job by Will Wade in terms of how they played, but that's a good coaching job by Chris Beard to just put his foot down and draw a line and say, I'm not budging. I'm going to be at Ole Miss way longer than you 5 dudes are.
Right. Well, the valuable lesson here on all of it, Jimmy, is the idea that both coaches have done very well. Beard today,
no doubt.
And Wade, even after a victory, to undress his team publicly the way he did. Chris Beard's ready to have this game over. He's at half court. And you can see in the top of our screen the handshake. Beard has a ton of respect for Will Wade. We started the show with the 2 coaches, and we will end the show with the 2 coaches. Message sent by Beard, message received, at least in this one, from NC State. They win it 76-69. 62. They shoot 50% from the floor, make 13 threes.